Right, good evening. It's Andy Pickett from Man Beast here again, doing a series of interviews for Yorkshire's Strongest Man and Yorkshire's Strongest Woman, which is on the 12th of July. And I've got Nikki here. Evening, Nikki.
Hello, hello, how are you?
No, I'm not bad. So, literally, as this interview goes, we've just had a quick chat. I want you to sort of introduce yourself. I'll ask you a few questions about the comp. I think this is the first time you've competed on a Man Beast show as well. So, it's great to have you. So, Nikki, tell us about your strong woman career anyway, because I know you've had it internationally, European, and all sorts. So, just give us a quick road tour of what you've been up to.
Yeah, sure. Well, I kind of fell into it by accident, really. A couple of years ago, I had a pretty serious rugby injury, and it kind of put me off sport for a little bit, but I missed it so much. It's something I've always done. So I went to the CrossFit side and joined a CrossFit gym. Absolutely loved the weightlifting side of things. I've always coached it, but I've never actually done it myself. And I just fell in love with it. I always thought I was the skinny runner and wouldn't be any good at this. I'm not saying I'm good at it, but I really, really thoroughly enjoy it. And I think if you enjoy something, it gives you that boost first off anyway. So I did my first comp February 23 in Sheffield and just absolutely loved it and have not looked back. Qualified for Worlds that same year, which was a bit of a fluke, I think. But it gave me a bit of a boost to keep going. And I've done Europe's, Worlds, England's, Brits, local comps. I love taking part in the local comps as well. At the smaller gyms, it's just great fun. The atmosphere is brilliant, and I love meeting new people. So
that's great. I can see how passionate you are about it as well. I love it. And I have seen the local media around Hull's got behind you quite a bit. I've seen your backstory with your rugby injury. I think that's great. I think you've got some real good profile out there as well, haven't you?
Yeah. I do love sort of getting women into the sport as well, because it's still quite a male dominant environment, and I just don't want women to be scared of doing something that is just great fun. I take a lot of strength classes at the local gym as well, and more and more women are coming along and realizing they don't have to deadlift 220 kilograms straight off. It's just learning and understanding the body and having a great laugh. And
that's it, isn't it? It's that mind body connection into it as well. And I think strength has often always been behind the chief medical officer guidelines. Do your 5 times aerobic activity, and this strength's just been this siloed strongman thing. And actually, the benefits of strength, as we all know, go far beyond just muscle. The brain, dementia, Alzheimer's, reduced risk. It's massive at the minute, isn't it?
The more and more research done about it, it's absolutely brilliant. And to go on about women of a certain age, sorry, people, but it is so good for, like you said, the bone density, osteoporosis, just even your mental mood and the way you can take on life if you've just got that extra bit of a boost. And it really, really has helped me. So
absolutely. I mean, they often use this thing now, don't they, in sort of prevention in terms of exercise for medicine, and strength falls into that as well. When you look at, if anybody's watching this, you want to look into mitochondria, with the muscles and the amazing things that does, which you can only get through weight training in terms of bone density, can't you, really? You can't get that through the running and exercise. It literally is mechanically loading up the muscles and the bone. It doesn't have to be, like you said, that 200 kilo deadlift, 300 kilo. But it's fantastic to watch, and that's what we're talking about with Yorkshire's Strongest Women. So the category of Yorkshire's Strongest Woman, we normally have 4 or 5 in it, so it's a smaller category we have on that as well. I think we have about 50 men, but we grow it each time, and we grow Peak District as well. So in this, what's a good event for you? So obviously we've got deadlift on. Are you good at moving events? Is there a particular event you don't like? Because it's so rounded into strong woman. There's so many different things to train for.
You just can't possibly train for just one specific event. It's my favorite has always been deadlift. It always will be. I just absolutely love it. Any type of deadlift. I'm not looking forward to York. Said in my horrible Hull accent, but there's just something about York that we just don't get along. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great competition. Michaela's just absolutely Wells ahead of everybody else. She's an absolutely amazing athlete. I love competing with her. And I think we've got Emma now coming along as well. So that'll be absolutely awesome. And to see Jade come in as well, who's obviously just started out in strongman. I was at her first ever comp, and she's just kept in touch with me throughout since then. And I've loved watching her, seeing her come so far ahead. She's just got a natural ability to it, and it just really excites me to see it. So I'm really excited to compete with her again.
Oh, that's good. This is why I like this sort of show, because it's the crowd's a little bit different sometimes, because you'll get your crowd that have seen it advertised and it's free, so it keeps it accessible for me. And then you've got your odd person that just turns up with a family doing some shopping and they think, what's this over here? And that's why I like using these venues, and then they're hooked into it, and then some of the feedback you get from people. I've had various comments before, certainly from last year's show, about somebody's son that was autistic and just she's never seen him engaged in something he's never seen, and these sort of things. And you think, wow, and I've shared this with the, with the guys and girls before, when people have come back to you, they want the picture taken with you, which you don't normally get at a regional comp, do you?
No, but they just get so excited about it and just wanting to chat to you and talk to you, ask about training, and it's it's brilliant. Really
and it sells and I think in some ways, I think women have got a way to cross over and resonate with the audience more, because there's still an older school view that women don't lift weights when it's for anybody. So actually, when they see 10, if it's an under 64 kit or whatever, and they see that, like Chloe, when we had Chloe Brennan on the show a couple of years ago, even I thought, actually, to be fair, I know she was good on the dinnies. We both said she's not going to lift them, and she did. And you can tell when I was emceeing, I was so excited, because I thought, it just shows you, I should know that there's nothing impossible. And she went and lifted them, at that weight, So it really engages the crowd more than the men in some ways, because it's like, wow.
Yeah, you kind of expect men to do it. I know, I'll say it in inverted commas, but you do expect men to be able to lift. Whereas, like you said, the stigma with women not being able to is still there quite a lot. So, yeah.
And there's that real sort of family sort of feel to it. And I've often found it, even though it's, you might you see it as it's not a team sport, as in, team of 11 footballers or whatever, but it is a team in a way, because you always get, you'll get Michaela willing you on. Yeah, of course you want to win and everything else, of course you do, but you will each other on. The guys as well, you get that pat on the back. Sometimes you'll run in, if you're doing a hold, and try and get another couple of seconds out of you. And I fell in love with the sport for that reason. It's a bit of fun, really. Yeah,
it really is. And like you said, even on things like stone runs, if someone can't lift anymore, they'll always go along and cheer the other person on. I've never had a negative experience of competition. It's just always been such a team environment. It's great like that.
A lot of the blokes not looking forward to the dumbbell.
Really?
It's
quite a weight, isn't it? I think. Yeah. Especially for women, it's quite a high weight, which
it's quite technical as well. There's probably more, it unbalances you. You can get somebody that's really good on a log, and then you've got a dumbbell that's you're flicking it overhead, but you can come. And then, of course, like we were saying, put the equipment, you could go to any show, couldn't you? And the equipment might be the same weight, but the bar is not a bar, is it, in strongman? Or stone's not a stone even sometimes, is it? The awkward shapes, there's all sorts of nuances, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. No comp is the same. Like you said, one yoke at one event could be a completely different setup to another, even though it's the same setup and the same run, basically in the same way. It could be totally different,
couldn't it? And then you've got weather to factor in it. And I talked about this in the last interview as well. At Lakeside, it's such a sun trap. Is that
it's gonna be sweltering, isn't it?
We're having in fact, Mark Pearson, I interviewed Jimmy Green, and Mark Pearson was actually at his unit when I interviewed him. So they both come on. I got two for the price of one. And Mark, I've got a picture of Mark back. God, this must be eight years ago when we did a comp there as well. And he must have been about 6 stone lighter with a 6-pack. And it just beat it down on us all day. We had a tyre slip in that one, and we were pouring watering cans on the black tyre because it was too hot to actually handle it. I think it's because it's sort of slabs. It's all paved. You've got shops all like paved as well, and it just seems to mirror heating. So that might pay in your favour. It might affect bigger athletes more. I don't know. Who knows? But there's a load of factors in it, isn't there?
Yeah. yeah, definitely. You just can't prepare for the weather, can you?
But that's the brilliant thing about outdoor shows, isn't it? We're
Yeah.
not a Giants live here in an air-conditioned arena. We're subject to the elements. We've had wind, we've had rain up in Peak District. That's just completely changed the competition. There's no what you
Yeah.
can do, is there?
Yeah, rain on sandbags is not a good thing at all.
Oh well, yeah. 2 years ago when we won Yorkshire, we were laughing because obviously it was raining, which were keeping the sandbags dry. But then
Yeah.
I think it was Matt Pearson that when he dropped it in the only puddle on the run.
Oh
All of
no.
us are going, he's done that on purpose. We're all
Tactical,
having a
yeah,
laugh.
definitely tactical. My son.
Tactical. So what? So you're looking forward to the deadlift.
Yeah.
You've said that.
Yeah.
Conan's yoke, you said, is just something that you
Yeah,
don't necessarily
myself,
like.
York.
We all have an Achilles heel, though, don't we? I don't
Yeah,
think you're ever going to get, somebody that every event the good at, or maybe a Mitchell Hooper type person at one point when he was
yeah,
peaking.
wow.
But
I just think I even tried obviously the car yoke at Worlds last year. And that was completely bizarre. I just yeah. I mean I moved it definitely moved, but it's just maybe I just need to practice it a little bit more. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's
But again, the
definitely
car yoke, again, you've got that. I suppose it depends on the pickup with that. If you pick it up and it's rocking, it's talking a lightweight, right? You're talking a ridiculous weight across your back here. That can just
yeah.
completely unsettle you.
And it's a lot narrower the pickup, and yeah, it's completely different. Luckily, where I train at Hulls, we do have a car, so I
Yeah,
could practice, but it was slightly heavier than the weight at Wells, so I could practice the pickup, but not so much the movement. So it
yeah.
was yeah.
We've had quite a few from. I mean, he's really good with his Ben. Actually, he came down to Yorkshire a couple of years ago. I remember, was it Adam Groundill? Goundill.
Andrew, yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
won the under 105s. He were a beast. He were on
Yeah,
stones
he's
actually.
brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah, and then we
he's
obviously have. Let me pronounce it right. Miroslav is
oh,
such a
Miss,
nice guy,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he's never not smiling.
It's the you go in the gym at 4 in the morning and he's always ready to have a nice smile, shake your hand, have a chat, and you're just like, how everyone's
Is
miserable at
that what
this
time you
time.
go in? Do you have to go in at 4?
I train at 4:30, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I
You
like to
see,
get it done.
I am an early morning person, but that is even early for me. I have to say that
Yeah.
is early, isn't it?
It's it took a while to get into the routine of it, but I go to bed quite early, get a good 7, 8 hours sleep, so it's quite nice. It's I like to have the kit set up that I need as well. So if I go on an evening and I can't do what I've got planned, my head goes a little bit fried. So
Yeah.
it just works for me.
You know yourself, don't you, as well? That's what I'm saying. You get to know yourself, don't you? You know that works for you, that meticulous you kit, you don't like to be interrupted. So you found a schedule that works for you. And you offset it by going to bed early. That's what I do. Sleep's a recovery, as we know. It's an underestimated superpower, really, sleep, isn't it?
And I am a nightmare if I've not slept.
Yeah,
Dirt come near me.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
absolutely. So in terms of other events, then, so Conan's, what do you think to that? I think,
I've only ever practiced Conan's twice and done it once in a comp, and
yeah.
it took my breath away.
Mm,
I'm excited to do it again, but I'm a little
mm.
bit concerned about how my body will react.
You can pass
But
out on it as well. I mean,
and in the heat,
I've had a
yeah,
few athletes over the years that it's just takes your breath out your lungs as well, doesn't it? It
well, you
completely
just want
empties
to
the
pick it up
oxygen.
and
Yeah,
go, and
yeah,
that's what's in your head not to do, but you just do it.
yeah.
So yeah, it'll
So
be
I'm going to ask you
interesting.
about your category then, because because obviously you mentioned Emma, didn't you? And was it
Mhm.
Jade?
Jade, yes.
Yes. Obviously, I know Michaela, so you'll probably have a good handle. So, who do you think are threats to the podium? You can put yourself up there as well, by the way. I'm just saying.
No, no, no. I'm not going to put myself on the podium. Um,
Well, I mean,
it'll
there's
be
4 people in it, so it's the way
right.
you can say podium. But who do you think is going to win it then? I think we're going to grow this category over the years.
Michaela. I've got to say Michaela. I think
Yeah,
she'll want a title. She'll want
yeah,
to retain it. But then the wild card Emma coming in, she's been training like a beast. Obviously, I follow her, see what she's doing, and she's just getting stronger and stronger. So she may be that wild card.
yeah,
Who
yeah.
knows? And Jade is such a good deadlifter. Like I said, I've watched her from the start, and she's just got that natural ability to pick up.
I'm looking forward to it because like there's quite a few people I know on the scene. So when I look at the men, I know probably 80% of that field, but so a few unknown ones as well, which is good. Well known to me. I mean, you'll probably know some of them actually. I'm just having a look on it because there's some from Hulls. But most I know, so I know what they're capable of. I know Josh Lancaster's always going to be a threat in this, and most of us spoke to saying, I know what Josh is like on this and that. Mark Pearson's moving events is up there, isn't he? At an international level, to be fair. He's quick. Jimmy's looking really good on deadlifts and stuff. So you can always pick events for people, but it depends how everything can change on the day. I've seen that. I know that myself as a sports person. Sometimes it can just all go out the window, can't it?
Yeah, and one event just puts one person off for the rest of the day. It can really make or break the day. But and I keep going back to the weather, but I think that's going to affect a lot of people.
I do as well. I think the crowd will as well. Yeah, I think you can feed off. I know some people like to feed off the crowd. I've known some athletes that there's some who are right in the mix, the clown and messing about, and then you've got the odd few that I've seen over the years that just go away and they want silence. That's it. So what's your strategy? Is the first event a confidence builder for you, or do you feel it out? If nobody likes to go first, I know normally we draw out of a nat who's going to go out first, but what?
I just think my nerves are awful. I'm well known for the first event I'll just go quiet, and I'm not a quiet person at all, so you will know there's a big difference in me. As soon as that's done, I'm back to being bonkers again. It just completely takes over. I've had close friends say, have we upset you? I'm like, no. I'm just so nervous, I just can't speak. And that's any comp I've ever done. It's just takes.
So it doesn't have to be an European or an international. It could just be a gym comp. It's the same.
Absolutely. Even like the charity thing I did on Saturday, I was just an absolute bag of nerves, and that was just me against my own head. It was. I was a bit touchy.
And I'm going to ask you as well, how do you balance it out? Because obviously you've got a job. You've got kids.
Yeah.
You get up at 4:30 and train. And this is the thing, there's very few people apart from your Eddie Halls and your people up there that have got the benefit of being a full-time athlete. The rest of you, you're passionate, you're driven, and everything else, but you're balancing all these other things that everybody else does. How do you manage all that?
I don't know. I think if you were telling me you were doing this, I think, are you crazy? Are you mad? But I've just got that routine. I go early so I can come home, get the kids set up for school, sort the animals. We've got chickens, cats, tortoise, all sorts. Wow. I'll make sure they're sorted, leave for work, come home. And then I've not got that much to do at the other side of the night, so I can just chill out. My job's quite full on. I work in housing, so I'm speaking to people all day, helping people out. And I think that keeps me going. I think if I was in quite a solitary job, I probably wouldn't be as buzzing as I am. But
I find it, my job's like that. But I must admit, sometimes I find it pretty exhausting when I've been speaking to people in a different way. It's not physically, but I'm sometimes pretty taxed at 8 o'clock. Kids are out, you put into bed, and I think, you know what, I just want half an hour by myself in peace.
Do you know what? The key is to watch Hollyoaks, and everyone will laugh at me when I say this, but it literally chills you out for 20 minutes. It is my my guilty chill out pleasure.
I remember during COVID, I was doing some work with a hospital actually in Chesterfield. I worked with quite a few psychologists there through COVID, supporting staff. And I always remember saying to me, find some escapism, and it doesn't matter what it is. And then she mentioned trash TV, Love Island, whatever it is, it don't matter, does it? For me, I mean, sticking myself in an ice bath, and I love all the outdoor swimming and all that sort of stuff. That is my escapism. What's your recovery? What do you do in terms of recovery?
Recovery wise, I'm pretty bad at it. My coach does want me to go for more massages and look after myself a little bit better. You can tell I'm a little bit chesty. I had a bit of a chest infection last week, and I just don't stop. And I think that's something I've really got to start to learn to do, that I can't keep going. At some point, I will shut down.
it's that immune system. And I can tell as we've chatted on this, because I'm a big one as well in terms of the mind body connection stuff. It's so powerful. Well, any sport is. I think weight training is so powerful in terms of your mindset, mental health and well-being. You mentioned routine and structure and purpose. It's really underestimated, that bit of this sport. I know through COVID, the athletes I work with, when we couldn't put shows on, you know, we had our own WhatsApp groups, and people were really struggling. I was myself as well, because I'd lost that channel.
Yeah, and it's a huge chunk of
massive
life gone.
Yeah, so it's massive. And I think at the shows sometimes, you know, when we sort of relay, or I do quite a lot sometimes on the PA systems, which, you know, people that want to get into it will be saying around, you know, if you want to try this or something, have a word with the athletes, and you'll get people coming up to you and asking you about getting into training, or it might be the lady that stepping into a gym's just too much, and it's just getting over those barriers, isn't it? Because it can be scary still, can't it? Even though you got more commercial offering now, so it's more diverse than what it used to be, it can still be intimidating to walk through the door as a woman, and you're presented with all these machines. You know, I'm gonna look stupid, I'm gonna look daft. There's still a lot of barriers, isn't there? And I suppose with what you're doing, things
like figuring out where the toilets are and who do I ask, and even I'll go to a new gym and I feel a bit like, but who do I talk to? Where do I go? But like you said, it is still that stigma, unfortunately, of getting into the door, and then it is okay, and
and then training. So last question. So in terms of Saturday, how do you do it in the week then? Do you taper now, or do you just keep it the same load?
I'll be probably doing a bit of a run through on Thursday, chill out Friday. I can't eat a lot. I know you were on about loading, and I've still got to make weight for Europe's in a few weeks, so I've really got to stick to that plan. And if just one day I'm off, then my head will go again.
You find your optimal weight though, don't you? Because it size doesn't suit everybody, does it? As well, it's all right. You know, for some of the guys, I know Jordan Davis, he's piling in there. I've seen him. You know, he's must put 4 or 5 stone, but it doesn't suit everybody, does it? And it doesn't necessarily pay into favour in some events. It might really good on static events, stuff like that. But it could be a bit of a drag in other events, couldn't it?
Well, going on about weight, I've probably put on 15 kilograms. Just to do this sport, and that is completely alien for me. I've always been a runner and a swimmer. I've always been lighter, so I think if I did go a bit heavier, I just wouldn't feel comfortable in myself, and I'd probably feel quite sluggish. So it is quite a big change for me just to be this size, and I'm not massive by any shape or form, but it's still a big chunk. So,
but when you're in those weight categories, it keeps you disciplined as well, rather than being in an open comp, like let's say like in the men's, where it doesn't really matter. But you know, as a woman, if you've got these weight categories and stuff, it keeps you disciplined as well to what category you want to be in. And it might come to a point, you know, if you're a younger athlete coming up in your 20s and you've always been at this weight, as you get older, you naturally hold on to that weight a little bit more, and you find yourself weak, a bit like a boxer, isn't it? You know, as you featherweight, you naturally tend to go up, don't you? Because you find yourself draining yourself, and you actually go into comp weaker, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it is, like I said, discipline, and I think I run better. Like, obviously I've said routine quite a lot, but I do run better with that. Maybe it's the ex-forces in me, I don't know. But I definitely like to stick to that. And if I've got a plan and structure, and I work a lot better that way.
Oh, well, look, Nikki, it's been lovely speaking to you anyway. Now, like I said to everybody today, I do appreciate your time. You know, it's a regional show. It's not a Giants library. I just think it's nice to get a bit of a background on you guys, get it out there as well into social media, and hopefully you'll really enjoy the show as well, because now we'll get a good crowd there, and you know, we try and big you guys up. You put a lot into the sport, and part of this is putting a platform on for you to be able to display it, so I'm sure you'll have a good time.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Brilliant.
Seeing everybody, and it'll be great.
We're a big family, aren't we?
That old cliche, but we are.
Yeah. Right then, Nick, it's been lovely speaking to you. I'll just flick stop recording, and then we'll just conclude it.